Hey guys, so if you have a question, please just request to join the stage. It should be like a button on the bottom of your screen. So I'm gonna pick just the first one who requested BYG Warlord. So I've invited you to speak. You just accept the request and you can start asking your question.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks so much for having me. My question was, can I share my space with my friend? So can my friend install a forge on my space if I give him permission to? I asked that before, but I didn't really get a clear answer, and I hope I can get a clear answer this time. Can my friend install a forge on my space if I give him permission?
I'll take that one. So here's the answer to that question. The answer to that question is that Big Time is well aware that permissioning features on who can do what, like who can access my space, who can use my stuff, all of that stuff. We understand it's super, super important. At the end of the day, we call these guild features. Guild features are really, really important. We want to make life as easy as possible for people who want to command a huge amount of space and have it managed by many, many players. What we can tell you is that we're absolutely committed to making that process as easy as possible. What we can tell you is that from a technical standpoint, permissioning features are pretty simple. They're not technically complicated. It's not as difficult as supporting hundreds of thousands of concurrent players. Right? There's computer science problems, and then there's permissioning settings. The permissioning settings, though, they're not totally defined yet. There's a lot of particular edge cases that we run into um, that we're still working out. It usually involves accounting, is a good way of describing it, but we will have a super complete uh, we will have a super complete version of that published on our website sometime in the future. What we can tell you, though, is there are people who have a good amount of space, and we understand as a game company, it's really, really important that we have a feature set that makes managing a large number of spaces super easy.
Okay, thank you
Cool.
so much. I'll take that as a yes then. Thank you.
Okay, cool. The next person I'm bringing up here is Jansen Pizza. He has some like emojis in his name.
Hello, thank you for doing this AMA and answering our questions. My question's pretty simple. Can you get more than one timekeeper per space? So if like you have a guild or whatever, would you be able to get 2 hourglasses with one space if it has enough slots?
Okay, I can take that question. Thank you very much for your question. So the timekeeper, we've not put out a lot of information on the timekeeper just yet. Really, all we've told you is there is something called the timekeeper. It is part of the space economy. But a lot of the particulars about timekeepers and forges, we just haven't published them yet. Um, we can tell you that size matters, right? If you have a bigger space, you're probably going to be able to do more stuff. That is something we've absolutely told you. But in terms of telling you definitively, if I, you know, can't, how many of these things can I actually install? Uh, that is not something that is official as of this moment. But generally speaking, what you're asking is, if I have more space, am I going to be able to, engage more of the economy, deploy my resources? The answer is yes.
Sounds good. I'm bringing up Ninja Bear to speak next. Hey man, you're muted, but you can speak.
Can you
We
hear me?
cannot. Oh, there we go. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. I have two mute buttons. My bad. Okay, I kind of asked this yesterday in the demo. I don't know if I articulated it well. Are NFT drops going to be kind of like the same as space? Like how there's 600,000 limit and you could get any from rare to exalted, right? And so if you have one particular item, is that mechanic going to be the exact same? So you're going to make like 1,000 of them and you could the base is a rare, obviously, the lowest that you can get, and then can you build up to the exalted, but are also exalted of that item going to be able to be made? If that makes
So
sense.
there's a couple components to your question. There are multiple types of NFTs inside the game, or things that can be put onto a chain, right? So you have a token. There's only one type of token, for example, that you can't change the rarity of it. So that's one. That's like one component. Then there is space available inside the game. The space that you find inside the game has a set rarity in it. You can't just combine like a bunch of rare space together to turn it into an exalted. For the other types of like cosmetic ones, in terms of those upgrading, if you find those inside the game, for example, let's say you find a rare cosmetic and then you put it into an exalted space, then you can make that cosmetic exalted. Does that pretty much answer your question? Because like it's not, there are multiple types of NFTs, and so there are multiple different pathways for upgrading certain things or not upgrading other types of NFTs.
Yeah, it kind of did, because I wanted to know, like, if you did get that rare, can you get it as an exalted, right? That NFT, like, will it drop as an exalted, or you mint 1,000 of them and they're only going to be dropped as a rare, and then you as a creator, us as creator community, does whatever we want to do with it as far as upgrading it.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying. You're like if we take like a rare cosmetic skin, drop it in there, and then you decide to just make it exalted or something like that. The other component is you can modify it inside of your space, and I'm sure Mike can add on to this as well. But you're going to modify it and change it, and that is part of the utility component of space. Is you're not just going to take an identical looking skin inside the game, leave it that way, and then just say, hey, this is now the exact same thing, but it's exalted. Is that you can modify it inside of your space using those things inside of the space, the armories, the forges, so on and so forth. Mike, over to you.
Yeah, so we haven't released a ton on this either, but basically, skins, we discussed them in terms of levels, and yeah, not in terms of rarities. Cool. Let's get to the next one.
Bring up Mania. By the way, guys, I'm just moving people off the stage after they ask their question.
All right, hi guys. How do you get timekeepers, forges, and constructions? Are they earned in game, or do you have to purchase them separately on the marketplace with the game token or just DC, for example?
Okay, so how do you get these other things that we've discussed that are in the game? How do you get them? We haven't actually announced anything like that yet. There are some really cool details to it though. That's something you're gonna have to stay posted for, but there are some really cool details. There's at least one thing that you're not gonna have to buy, but we're just not ready to announce that yet. Let's get to the next question.
I'm bringing up soggy waffles. It's okay,
Hi.
here we go.
Hello. Hey guys. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Sorry, I was
Okay.
having a chuckle with your username. Good job.
Thank you. Love the project. My quick question is, so how do you guys as an RPG keep things fresh from the grind that is in typical RPGs, other than earning new NFTs and stuff? I realize that your guys' dungeons are gonna be able to change on their own or whatever, rearrange themselves because of the procedural generation and stuff like that. But what else are you guys doing?
So there's a couple ways that the game is going to grow. So you mentioned procedural generation, right? Each time you go through a dungeon, it's a little bit different. For the initial release of the game, we're going to have 5 worlds, which is what we call timeshares. So right off the bat, you have 5 worlds with each one having multiple dungeons inside of it. And then additionally, the developers have already set in motion the release of multiple more worlds over a course of about a 5-year period. So there is additional upgrades and expansions to the game that users can look forward to.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
I'm bringing up FRD 17.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for bringing me up. My question is for early access. I hope you can hear me well. Um, for the early access, will there be server regions? Because I'm from Asia, so just want to make sure that I'll be having a good latency and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had to do forecasting recently on this, sort of looking at all of our different statistics to kind of figure out where we're going to need to have, uh, you know, how many servers we're going to need in different regions. And Asia is going to be a huge market for us, especially Korea, where Big Time's actually super popular right now. So most certainly we're going to have a lot of different we're going to have servers in a lot of different places, so you'll be able to get a good connection.
I'm gonna add Yerky.
Hi, I just have a question about these quests for Ruby Pass. Will everybody be able to get them that enter these quests, or will there be like a limit, 5,000 or something like that? And
Sure. So
what will we
yeah
actually
the
get from Ruby Pass? Like an item or something, a
yeah
little bit of
so
the extra, or what?
yeah. So Ruby Pass gives you access to early access in week 10. And through the quest system, there's going to be a lot of different prizes in the future. Like right now, you can collect Discord roles, you can collect Ruby passes, and in the future, as we have more to offer as a company, we're going to have a lot more prizes there. In terms of having like those prizes capped, there are a certain amount of Ruby passes that we can give away. So like eventually there will be no more Ruby passes to give away, and in that sense, like the quest system will eventually remove that as a prize and maybe add another prize or something like that. Um, let's see, we got another question here from Alquar Alquarzmi. I don't know how to say your name. Sorry. But
Yes, hello there. Uh, so my question is as follows. I've been buying all the boxes since like July of the postcards, but like up to this moment, I have no idea of the use cases. Like I've heard some rumors, but uh, can someone like say if it's gonna have any utility in the future? That would be grateful for that.
sure. So the way we've kind of structured the postcards so far is, if you collect 1 through 6 of the postcards, you'll receive a collectible. And the way that collectible is structured is that there was 4 postcard series, so there's going to be 4 individual collectibles. In terms of like the other prizes in the box, I think there was some VIP passes mixed in, and then like the other postcards. Right now, the like quote unquote utility of them is just the art, and we never really said there would be another utility to them. Some people have kind of spitballed the idea that eventually you might be able to import those into like your time machine or something and maybe display them, but those are like just ideas as of this moment, and we don't have any confirmed utility for those. The next question I'm gonna bring up is from Dong Steve. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Yes. Sorry about that. So I have a question about the token generation. For example, does higher rarity space produce more token? For example, if you produce token using the timekeeper in exalted versus if you try to produce that in the rare space, would that make any difference in terms of the productivity of the token?
Okay, I can take this one. So basically, one of the things we've discussed internally is this general idea, but it has less to do with space, but is this general idea that there will be things that you can upgrade that would increase your productivity. The thing is, there's a lot of different places where that feature can be, let's say, encoded. There's a lot of different places you can put it. I guess you could put it on space, although I don't know if that would make the most sense. Probably something more that you would equip on a character. That would make a whole lot more sense. But we haven't really released the specifics in terms of exactly how that's going to happen. But there's definitely going to most likely be something that enables increased rate or more efficient rates of collecting tokens. But where we're going to encode it, we haven't fully decided yet.
Sounds good. I'm gonna bring up Titan Studios with rocket emoji.
Hey, thank you for bringing me up here. I just had a question regarding the timekeeper. Is it a difference if I create a timekeeper in Exalted versus another category of land?
Okay. Yeah. So, but I just like to take a moment just to kind of let everyone know that a lot of the by the way, first of all, we are super excited when we get these kinds of questions because like these are the most exciting questions, right? Like these are the questions that we just know how engaged our community is when they're asking these kinds of questions because they're detailed, they enable strategy. The thing that's tricky is we've put out some information, but we and it was really just in December. But the reason we haven't put out a whole lot more about it, just because ultimately all of this stuff can be it's basically a rule set, right? Like how's this going to work? How's that going to work? And what we're really trying to do at Big Time is we're really trying to make sure that what we ship is the best version it can be. So I do apologize for the vague answers. Please don't feel like we're not answering your questions. What we're trying to do is we don't want to put out incorrect information. That's first and foremost what we're doing. If you don't want to put out incorrect information, because that's not good for anyone. So overall, I mean, the answer for a lot of the questions that you're going to have is going to basically be something like this. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, the timekeeper. It can be put into space. There is an ability to upgrade it, and that's really all we can say for now.
I'm gonna bring up BYG Rain.
Hey, so my question was, I know you guys are gonna come out with a big time token coin. So I was wondering, all the usages for that, whether it's for the timekeeper, to go to space. I just was wondering, all the usages for that token.
There's a couple ways you can get the token. So first and foremost, it comes from in-game play. So the more you play the game, the more tokens you can find. There's no other IDO or IDC, like not even myself or anybody else on this big time team from this call gets leaning into the game. So first and foremost, it's for the in-game economy. Once a user gets it, they can withdraw it to a wallet if they want to. But when it stays inside of the game, you can use it for a variety of things. Those things include, but are not necessarily limited to, using it for certain features in the time machine, repairing hourglasses, exchanging for other NFTs that are on the marketplace. But really, it's to like drive that in-game economy and using it for things inside of the game.
We can bring up Nespoken.
Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thanks for having me on. Well, I have two questions. The first one is, I was wondering, is there a real difference between having two spaces, let's say a legendary one and a medium rare, that has the same slots in terms of aesthetics and in terms of utility? And the second one is about, let's say my friend has one small rare space, I have another one, so can we like group up both so we can have a forge, or how it's gonna work? Thank you.
It seems like there was a two-part question. I'll start with the second part. Your question about being able to combine space is very similar to what somebody asked previously about being able to, for example, put a forge or an armory inside of somebody else's space. That on a technical standpoint, we can do that. We can write the code and the permissioning for that quite easily. What we want to do is ensure that there is a positive user gaming experience for everybody. And that fun is the fundamental component of this economy. So getting it right, getting that permissioning right and that sharing right so that everybody can enjoy it is what we are going to release additional details on as we get closer to EAL. The first part of your question was about like sockets and rarity. There's a lot of that will come down to how players want to use their space as a utility NFT for crafting and upgrading, and their goals inside of the game. If their goal inside of the game is to just play it and have fun, how they're going to allocate those sockets across the other NFTs like forges and armories is going to look like one general path. If their goal is to put a lot of things onto the marketplace and to really drive the production side of that in-game economy, it's going to look a little bit different. And the reason why there are different allocations of sockets and rarities is because each of those other utility tokens that goes inside of the space eats up a different amount of different sockets. So some need 2, some need 3. And that jump, for example, to go from an odd to an even number of sockets will dictate whether or not you can handle another timekeeper or hourglass, right? And like each one of those NFTs allows you to do different things inside the game. If you create another forge or an armory and you want to use that socket, you can forge more things. If you want to put in another hourglass to summon timekeepers, then that allows you to collect more in-time tokens. How users want to go forward and play with that is going to be very much on what their goals are, and then kind of what they enjoy most inside of the game. And we think more of that will be determined on a user level as we release more details of exactly how the tokenomics work.
Sounds good. I'm going to bring up Billion here, or Bill Lyon. I don't know how to say his name.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, thank you guys. I know a lot of the questions have been around the mechanics of the game, and I am looking forward to it and excited about the game, but I'm very concerned. I'm going to be very calm, but I do have to tell you, I feel a little disappointed as an early investor who bought in December. And I have been saying, I look at the inventory and I feel that it has been flooded with the current state of the game. And I've watched my investments go down, even though I purchased again. And have you guys considered stopping this sale? Because if you look at the pieces out there, it doesn't feel good from my perspective of things. I get that long term it will be, but I right now as a space holder, I feel quite disappointed by how much inventory is out there and watching value decrease.
Sure. So you asked, did we consider stopping the sale? In fact, we have already announced that the sale will be closing Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, this Thursday, March 31st. Any remaining unsold inventory will be removed from the primary market. Mike, if you want to answer anything else about that question.
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, sounds good. We're gonna bring up someone else here. By the way, guys, I just want to remind you, if you could just keep it to one question, keep it simple, just so that we can move through as many questions as possible today. The Valerian, I added you. I don't know.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Quick question about gameplay. Does there will be some PvP mod or duels between 2 players?
PvE. It is a PvE environment, but for when you want to play with a friend or something like that, you can go through dungeons together. The dungeons you play through in a group of 6, and if you don't have 6 people, whether or not you're alone or with 2 people, that 6-person team can be populated by another game.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna bring up someone else here. We have Zomozu.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Alright, so I've been in Discord recently the past 2 months or so, trying to get hold of questions and seen a lot of people asking questions in here as well. I've seen a lot of avoiding questions or simply time out people for questions that can't be answered. So my question is there any need or anything in terms of hiring people to control Discord better and at least get announcement out so people don't FUD in the chat all the time? Since I think the main reason for the FUD and all the chaos happening in the past weeks, and with all the failed launches we had, we don't have anyone to control it in the community as in Discord. And is there anything we could do about that in the future? Thank you.
Sure. So I can take that question. In terms of actually, community management, we've taken a very, very large role within the community in the past month or so. We've been doing AMAs almost every single day, and Mike and I, Matt and I, we've been in the chat of the Discord every single day. And you know, we do recognize that the community is a large driver of the project itself, and so we've been trying to take a lot of input and spend a lot of time in the community to, you know, guide the project itself. From the perspective of, like you said, lots of failed launches, there hasn't been any failed launches. Unfortunately, you know, when you have such a big following as Big Time does, you end up crashing a lot of sites. I think we definitely have crashed a lot of sites, but nothing has, you know, failed in that sense. All right, I'm gonna bring up the next speaker here. We've got Vinny Flo here. Let's see.
You guys, can you hear me right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so super excited about this game. The only thing is I'm on like a low budget, and I've been in on a debate on if I should buy the Jade Pass or buy some space. Does the Jade Pass come with space, or what's like more important?
Yes. So the way early access works is during early access, we actually have a great graphic of this on our Twitter. I'm gonna put it in chat in a second. But there's a different types of NFTs that are collectible during each section of early access, like during each period of early access. By the way, I just put the graphic in general if you want to take a look. But basically in the gold period, you have legendary, epic, and rare available. And then in silver, legendary drops out, and then in jade, you only have the first level of space available in all three sizes. So, you know, from that perspective, space will be available in the Jade early access period. However, like, we can't give you investment advice as to like which one